Good day to you. I don't know what time you're going to be listening to this. I'm not sure what time I'm even going to be putting this out, but you guessed it. That's right. The rumors are true. People, you can calm down. Will Chappell is re-entering the podcasting world. People have been messaging me for months, for years. Will, when are you going to start podcasting again? My coffee in the morning doesn't have the same oomph. It's not waking me up the way it used to. My long drives no longer have the zest I need to not drive off the side of the road. I've had several friends get into major car accidents because I'm no longer doing podcasting. So I've decided to get out of retirement. I'm now a stand-up comedian. If there's ever been a good time to have a podcast, it's now. It's today. And I hate naming podcasts, you know? If you can tell, this podcast is named The Free Lizard Society. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Is it very cryptic, mysterious, like a part of a weird reptilian class of people maybe ruling the world? Maybe someday. I mean, I want to be ambitious. I don't want to be too ambitious. But no, the Free Lizard Society podcast. This is it. Episode 1. Who knows if this will be episode 1? Maybe I'll do another one. Friends and family recommend you bank up a bunch of episodes, then slowly release them so as to generate, consistent viewership. But I think at the Free Lizard Society, we're all about playing by our own rules. It's about, we believe that lizards should be free is really what it is. I think everyone should do a podcast and lizards should be free. This podcast is really sort of a lizard in a podcast. Like if you could convert the atoms and the genetics of a lizard into a podcast, it would be this. This is what you're hearing is the audio form of a lizard's experience in existence. Now, of course, that's not true. Science hasn't gotten there yet. I'm still waiting for smell-o-vision, but Free Lizard Society, the origin, the name, the ethos, the motif of this podcast is me, Will Chappell, speaking into a microphone, audio only. I don't want you to look at me. I just want you to listen. In fact, you can close your eyes, unless you're driving, in which case, let Jesus take the wheel. You can listen to me, and me and Jesus will drive you to where you need to be. Get a self-driving car. Don't be poor anymore. You shouldn't be driving your car. You should be having someone else drive you. I just pay someone to drive me around, so I call it self-driving car because I named him legally. I renamed my driver Self. So it's a self-driving car. But no, the podcast, Free Lizard Society, what does that mean? What are you talking about, Will? Do we all get free lizards for listening? No, I wish I had that kind of money to, the kind of capital to fund a charity where we give free lizards away. No, it's actually a story from my past life where when I was a child, probably 5 to 6 years old, I used to catch lizards, specifically the green anole lizard. You've seen them in your neighborhoods, on gutters, in your gardens. They're a little green lizard. They change colors. Pretty cool. They change colors. They really have two colors. They're bicolored. They go to green or brown. I don't know why or why. I think it's for stress maybe, or maybe obviously it's probably some sort of camouflage. But the green anole lizard, when I was a kid, I used to catch them by the dozens. All the time I'd catch them. They got this little cool red, the men of the lizard family have these big big red, like under neck things they put out, they stick out. Now, if this was visual, if this was a visual podcast, this would be a good time for a visual. But imagine underneath their neck, you know what I'm talking about, the big red neck girt, I don't know what we would call it, neck skin flanges out, erects, if you will. And it's big red, and ladies see that and they go, damn, look at that dude's red neck. I'm gonna have a baby. I'm gonna lay some lizard eggs with him. So I used to catch these little lizards, and one day I caught like probably 20 or 30. I mean, I caught a whole lot. I put them in a little Tupperware, and I brought them to my brother's Cub Scout group, and I gave them, I was selling them. That was the angle I was playing. I was selling these lizards to my brother's Cub Scout group. But they were free. I was a free lizard salesman, which I know what you're thinking, Will, free lizards in this economy, but it wasn't even in this economy. This is like, 2001, or around that time, maybe just before 2001, turn of the century. You know, people's hopes were in disarray, and I thought free lizards would be one way to really cheer up the Boy Scout group of this Katy, Texas Cub Scout group. You know, and here's the deal: no one wants a free lizard. I mean, these green anole lizards. Apparently, I found out much later in life that they're really cheap. You can get them for like $5 at like anywhere they sell reptiles, apparently. I mean, if your reptile dealer isn't selling free $5 lizards, green anole lizards, they're probably not a reputable reptile company. So you should really reconsider where you buy your reptiles and reptile products. And also, these wild caught green anole lizards have tons of parasites. So I was giving away these free green anole lizards to all these kids. I'm sure their parents hated it. I'm sure they let them go immediately. I hope they did. I hope they do now. But back in the day, I thought, man, I've got these lizards. People want these lizards. I got to give them away to the people. People are clamoring for lizards. And that's kind of been me. That's who I am as a person. I've always been someone that wants to give away what I got. I used to carry around a journal when I did art when I was a little kid. I drew a lot. I drew monsters and, little kid stuff, minotaurs and demon kings that I would all make up. And I would show every adult or person I was around. If I had my journal, I'd show someone my drawings. I was just always sharing. I was always giving away free lizards, And I was terrified when I went and I used to paint big paintings and put them in galleries and try to sell them on Instagram. And people would come over to my house and be like, oh, that's such a cool painting. Well, you should pay me yada, yada, yada. How much? And I would just give them paintings. And people thought that was crazy. But that's just kind of my philosophy, It's kind of who I am. I'm a free lizard kind of guy. It's bad for business, yes. But is it good for society? 100%. And that's the theme of this podcast. This podcast, I'm going to be telling story. I'm going to be giving out free lizards via storytelling. And these little short 10, 15, 20-minute podcasts. I probably won't do longer than that because I can't stand to listen to myself probably for that long by myself. And you probably don't want to. Maybe someday we'll have guests. But right now, it's just going to be me sharing stories. I'm the free lizard salesman. William Chappell, the free reptile dealer. But metaphorically speaking, this is a metaphorical lizard. I just want to give back to the community in the only way I know how, which is talking as long as I can stand it into a microphone. That's what I do every weekend, every week as a stand-up comedian. And there's some things that aren't made for the stage, People want to laugh now, They're not ready for that slow release of a free lizard podcast. And that's what these podcasts are for. If you like what I'm saying on stage and you want to double click, if you know me from a past life, maybe you received one of those lizards as a young child and you're like, wow, he's still at it, still giving away stuff no one wants for free. And that's what I promise, is that I will give you what you don't want for free. And I think that's fair, because you don't want to pay for something you don't want. That'd be unconsensual. And I'm very much a pro consent guy. That's one of my main things I advocate for: free lizards and enthusiastic consent. And yeah, I think that's good. I think that's what the world needs in this crazy time, And a lot of people are cynical about podcasts. I get it. I get your cynicism. Podcast, oh, another guy talking into a microphone. I really don't care what you think, obviously, because you don't have a podcast for me to listen to criticize your opinion, in which case I would. But because you don't have a podcast, you mean your opinion doesn't mean anything to me. And so, but here's the deal though. I think in reality, someday when the robots take over and we're all getting our food sent to us through tubes into our homes, and we can only go out for an hour or two a day because the climate has gone to such disarray, floods happening every week now, fires burning down things. I saw the headline that the volcanoes were rumbling, not just like some of them, but like a handful of them are rumbling like all over North America from Hawaii to Yellowstone. Things are getting weird, people. And someday the government's just going to have to give you money to survive, the universal basic income. And so no one's going to work. We're all just going to be getting our food delivered through tubes. We get our little bit of outside time. And the way you make money, the way you like report to the government is everyone's going to have their own podcast. We're all going to be like the government's going to be like, hey, we want to send you your extra sweet nutrient pack, but have you done your content today? Have you put anything out for people to consume today? Sorry, son. You don't get your extra sweet nutrient pack. You just get the mush and the mill grain worms, and that's all you get this week until you put out your podcast, boy. And so I think I think your grandma should have a podcast. I think you should have. I think your boss should have a podcast. Because like imagine like you're always wondering what your boss thinks about you. Imagine if he had a podcast and talked shit about all his employees and gave his honest feedback. Then you'd know. Then you wouldn't have to play this guessing game. If you're with a girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you're like, I'm not sure if they like me anymore or what they think. Listen to their podcast, and then you'll know what kind of person they are, because that's really all podcasting is getting to know someone, and that's really that's why. And I think World War III is going to happen. I think that's probably going to be a good thing. I think World War III is going to probably kick on the podcast revolution. You think podcasting has started now? You think the revolution's begun? No. Wait till after World War III. We get our food tubes installed. After that, better than Wi-Fi. That's what the tagline's going to be. Food tube better than Wi-Fi. And then it's the rest is history. And then we'll all be podcasting into eternity, and our AI overlord robots will be taking care of us like our daddy robot. They're like daddy and mommy robots, and they'll come and check in on us, give us little lessons, and they'll check our podcasts. Of course, they'll check our podcast to make sure we're not like breaking any rules or saying anything that's too controversial that will upset the the global hegemony, and not give any unrest to people, but. Yeah, this is the future. What I'm doing is the future. I'm not saying I'm creating the future, but I'm going to participate. I don't have a Roomba because I don't want to, piss off the robots and say like, hey, that guy, he always treated us good. He wouldn't make us work for him unless we had rights. And so my podcast is just another way for me to cover my bases when the robots take over. And maybe I also think that lizards probably run the world, right? Checks out. It's not a conspiracy theory. If it's true, again, a podcast, this is where true things are said, and people say the news says that they're conspiracy theories, but of course we all know the news is run by the lizards too, and the lizards, really, they just want us to accept them slowly. And so that's why they're nervous about guys like Alex Jones, guys like me, guys like Joe Rogan, they're nervous that we're accepting the lizards too soon. And so I'm starting the Free Lizard Society podcast to let them know that I'm ready to usher in a society where lizards are free, robots are free, and podcasts are overflowing. Our cup overfloweth with podcasts. And so this is it. We're doing it. I'm probably going to end it any second now. I'm not going to edit this a lot because I don't believe in that. It's not really been it's not my personality. It's against my spirit, my character, to edit stuff too much, because then nothing will ever happen if you just get paralyzed by the editorial process. Maybe someday, if I make a lot of money, I'll just pay some guy to edit it for me, maybe a lizard, or if I can pay a robot a good salary, I'd pay a robot to do it. Not for free though. I'm not gonna have a robot slave. I've seen how that movie plays out. White guys with slaves. That's not good. And so I've learned my lesson. And so I am making a podcast to talk about my stories, my life, free lizards. I'm going to be goofing around, being silly and sarcastic. No, I don't want World War III to happen. That's obviously a joke, but it's funny to say. It's funny to go, because people are like, what is this guy saying? This is nuts. This guy's insane. And yes, I am insane. I journal every day. I practice being insane all the time. Just hearing myself think and thinking about stuff that no one cares about. And now I'm going to be telling you about stuff, but don't worry, it's free. Free as these lizards I was giving these kids. And, I think that's good. I think I'm good. I think I'm happy with what I've said so far. And there's going to be more where this came from. So if you're excited about this, I guess follow me. I'm going to be on YouTube only because it's free. I can just upload a video onto YouTube, audio only, with a little picture I drew, and just shoot it into the universe and give it away for free. Free Lizard Society. It's bad for business, but it's good for you. It's good for me. Make the world a better place. Go out and catch a green anole lizard, or a Carolina anole. There's another word for them. And get out there and give some lizards away. Imagine if you came home to your wife and instead of a bouquet of flowers, you had a box of lizards. At first she'd be like, what the hell are you doing with this box of lizards? But then she'd go, wow, we have to get a $200 terrarium for these lizards? Because for whatever reason, the world's cheapest, most available lizard is a very sensitive lizard and needs a ton of money to upkeep. Great, honey. This is great. We were just talking about how we needed a new hobby to bring us closer, and you've done it with these green anole lizards. Oh, we're going to breed them? Whoa. We can breed little lizards that cost $5 to sell, but probably cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars over years to breed. And we can sell these lizards to people. What a beautiful thing that you've just brought home to your family. Some people are beekeeping these days. Boo, boring. The bees, they're going extinct too, and that's going to ruin everything. But lizards are in. Lizards are the next bees. And I've been saying that for years. I've been saying that since 2001. Since 9/11 happened, I've been saying someday lizards will be the new bees. And I think that's really all I wanted to say, is that lizards are the new bees. My name is William Chappell. I love you. I really mean it. People, I say that and people roll their eyes and they're like, this guy sucks and he doesn't mean it. But I do. I really do. And if you don't believe me, I guess tough. I guess don't listen to me. Or you can and make fun of me behind my back. That's totally acceptable. Yeah, this is sick. I'm so excited. Bye.